Hello, Laziali all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge. I'm Vittorio Campanile. Today we're going to talk about plenty of things. Porto Lazio, of course. Udinese Lazio next Sunday. But we have a breaking news, right? Alistair McKenzie, and I'm joined with Johan. I hope I pronounced it correctly this time, because Lazio just announced that Mizuno will be our new technical partner for, we don't know, because they just announced for next year. They didn't say how many years the deal will be, how much money they will get. They just said that it will involve the women team, Lazio, Primavera, and so on. So a little bit of mystery. Alistair, do you want to explain how things are going and what's this deal?
I'd love to explain what this deal is, Vittorio, but thanks to Lazio's brilliant communications department, I can't, because they've not told us how much money we're getting, how long the deal is for. All they've really told us is that this is a great thing for Lazio's global image, despite the fact that if you go on the English section of Lazio's website, the last story was from the 14th of January. So that's what I can tell you.
That's not that much, right? So, but even mobile phone ringing. Everybody's calling me now. I'm happy about this deal, but Johan, you are not very happy about that, right? Can you tell us?
No, not at all. I think Macron is a real classic brand, Italian brand been with for a long time, and switch for Mitsubishi, a Japanese brand that not has really going into the market yet. And the rumors I heard, it's the deal is not that better. So that's why. If we got a whole bunch of money more, yeah.
The problem is Lazio is not a very international team, so I don't think they're gonna splash that cash for us, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But it's an international brand. It's very popular in Japan. We have to get in the Asian market, and maybe that's the reason why we're doing that. Alistair, why are you laughing?
Because I just have zero faith in the club's ability to any market, let alone the Asian market. I mean, we know the club's got a big Indonesian fan base, at least, so that's a big part of Lazio's Asian appeal. But I don't know. I always find it slightly strange, this idea of if you get a technical sponsor from a country, that means the club's going to be more popular in that country. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, if Kappa start being the technical sponsor of a team in Mexico, it doesn't mean that lots of Italians will suddenly become interested in that team in Mexico. So I don't know. I think it's about the business side more than anything, and how much money the club can get from it, and if that can come with Mizuno actually promoting Lazio and doing a better job, I guess, of marketing the club than the club does itself, then that would be a big
quite easy.
Yes.
I have a little, but PSG has it, Mitsune, right?
No, Nike. They have the Michael Jordan brand, PSG.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think who has it in Europe? I don't remember. Not
yeah,
that many.
I just googled and it says PSG. So
maybe they changed the deal, but they played against Real Madrid, and they had
Real Madrid.
They had the Jordan one. I don't know.
Okay, I didn't think about it then.
But yeah, go on.
Bad game, Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid is,
by the way,
not playing very well.
No.
But in the press release, they said that Mizuno will help Lazio to maximize the promotion and exposure online and offline, and increase their global reach. I hope this will be real, because Lazio marketing is awful. So, I mean, it's going to be really easy to do better than that, because from 0 to 1, It's not that difficult. Uh, as Alex said, we have to rely on Mizuno, right? Because Lazio's not going to
Yeah.
do that much.
There's a Wikipedia page of the list of Mizuno sponsorships, and there's quite a few sports, but in the football section, the first team is Windsor Castle FC from England. There's
Wow.
there's there's quite a few Italian teams, but it's like Porto
Oh,
d'Ascoli, Cesena, Cittadella, like Montevarchi. Like the Lazio are by far the most recognizable team on this list. Until you
yeah.
get to maybe they have a few Japanese teams,
Obviously.
but they have Tre Fiori from San Marino or on the list.
That's going to make a lot of money, right? I can see all the San Marino fans buying that shirt. I think in San Marino, they're all Juventus supporters, to be honest with you. But
Okay, maybe then they cut the deal because Mitsuno promised that we are gonna be the flagship. Because I read here they tried to sign PSG and no deal. And I see the same list as Alice, and this. Yeah, I can't. The most team don't even have a Wikipedia site.
well, again, it could be like Macron, right? Lazio is the best team of Macron, and they made personalized shirt for us. With Mizuno, will probably be the same. We are by far this time the best. So maybe this will help us make better shirt and sell them better. They're very popular for running shoes. They're the number one for running shoes.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
so maybe
That was what I was watching watching the game with a friend last night, Sports Lazio, and we talked about the Mizuno thing, and he was like, "Well, at least that might make the players run a bit more if we've got Mizuno gear."
I had the joke ready. You spoil it.
Oh yes,
No.
good. Ambushed your jokes.
Anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see how many years, because they just announced one. Could it be? Do you think it's 1 year? We try how it works out, and then we sign a new contract for more years, or it's just they want to keep it secret?
if it 1 year, I think it's because Lotito wants 1 year to sell jerseys from Mitsuno, then a new and sell jerseys again. He have a history of being a cheap band, so
Yeah. Alistair, what's your take?
I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes down to this stuff, the thing that actually interests people the most is what they look like. And so I guess business side apart, that's the number one thing that everyone will be looking for is what they come out with, what they produce. And I think Macron actually in that regard have been really good. I've really liked a lot of the Macron kits, especially the early years. I think they produced some really, really nice kits. And I think they've been consistently pretty good. But yeah, maybe people feel ready to move on and see what someone else can do. And I do prefer, I guess, like at least with Mizuno, it's kind of interesting and unknown what they're going to produce compared to. I would hate to be one of those Puma teams with those shirts name across the front, for example. I mean, they're horrendous. So, and every Adidas and Nike kit basically looks the same as well. So
they are the same.
You get
just change the color.
You kind of sacrifice any originality as well. So hopefully they have something relatively interesting.
Yeah, I think the problem with Macron is that it's very hard to find the shirts. I mean, when I was abroad, I could never, ever find a Lazio shirt. Never, ever. I don't know, Johan, if in Sweden it's different, if you could find Lazio shirt. I hope with Mizuno this will change. But, you know, obviously, if you turn to Nike or Adidas, that would have been easier. Even though I have to admit that even in England, I never found a Roma shirt. So I don't know if Nike didn't trust Roma about that. But I think this is the biggest turning point, right? Finding the brand, the shirt outside Italy.
In Sweden, you can find it online on a really good Swedish webpage who takes in everything. but the problem is it's too few Lazio fans in Sweden, so you have to order in it to the shop, and then so you can get it, yeah. But I don't know if that Macron's fault or if it's we have too little supporters in Sweden.
It's funny because I know a lot of Lazio fans that are from Sweden. I mean, the Sven-Goran
Yeah.
Eriksson had a huge impact there, right?
Yeah, he had, but it's gone 22 years.
Yeah.
I'm the editor of the Swedish side of Svenska Fans, with two others, and we have a steady a couple of thousand readers. I'm gonna write the match report from yesterday after this. So yeah, it is Lazio fans in Sweden, but compared to the other teams in the north and Roma, no.
Ah, okay. I thought Roma didn't have that many fans there. Time to move to Porto Lazio. A defeat, but overall, I thought I got good performance. Let's start with Alistair. What's your take about the match, Alistair?
Yeah, I mean, I think all things considered, relatively happy. I mean, I guess it is frustrating in the sense that the two goals conceded were kind of identical and felt avoidable, and same old problems with defending, I guess. But in the circumstances, going away to one of the best teams left in the competition, not having Immobile there, losing 2-1 is not the worst result in the world. I think I said in our last podcast that what I really was hoping for was just that we'd still be in the tie coming into the second leg in Rome, and that's exactly where we are. Obviously needing to win in Rome, but needing to win any win is not a bad position to be in necessarily. It's not like we have to smash them to pieces. We just need to win the game. And to be honest, I don't think Porto actually looked that good. I don't think Lazio will have any real fear factor about them for that second leg, just on the basis of the performance. I don't think they were outplayed. So yeah, I think all in all, frustrating to lose the game, but it could have been worse, and I think I probably expected it to be worse than it was.
Johan, what's your take about the match?
I agree pretty much with Alistair. It's frustrating because we took a lead, we had the momentum. I thought we should going harder for a second goal, but as he said, at least one goal could have been avoided. And Porto, they were Luis Diaz to Liverpool, they Jesus Corona to Sevilla, Sergio Oliveira to Roma. So they are not as good as they was in the Champions League, because they didn't took in any reinforcement in January. So I think it's a 50-50 chance now. But I think we should end the draw 1-1.
Yeah, I thought the first half was particularly good and about Lazio, and I agree with you, Juan. We should have scored the second goal. We had the chance, we didn't take it. Zaccagni, we have to talk about Zaccagni, but I think we have to talk about Luis Felipe because I think both goal was his responsibility, and they were similar. I don't want to say identical, but very similar. And he made the same mistake twice in the same match. This is not acceptable from a player that wants, top money. So I don't want to say that we lost only because of Luis Felipe, but he has huge responsibility. And it's not the first time. Against AC Milan in Coppa Italia, he makes mistakes. Last Saturday, we win, but Patrick is playing better than Luis Felipe.
Yeah,
I think this is an issue. Starting from you, Johan, do you think it's because of the contract renewal that it's making him not playing at his best, or is simply this is Luis Felipe, great player but making some silly mistakes?
No, I think Luis Felipe. I don't think it had anything with contract situation, because I think he's going to a club in the north, get 3 million, maybe Inter, but he's get booked the most in Lazio. He he do stupid things pretty often. So Patrick, he has been a beast the last 6 matches, and I can't believe I say that. But yeah, no. A week ago, I was all for renewal Luis Diaz and not Romagnoli, but now maybe I start changing my mind. I don't know. He blocked most shots in the league, but he misses a lot of soon spaces that he should cover.
Alistair, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he loves blocking shots. That's basically his speciality. I think I've said before, he's almost become like the master of the new hands clasped behind back defending, which is now obviously such a big part of the game. But yeah, he does have a weakness, I think, in this kind of style of defending, perhaps in his anticipation a little bit, and to let the same player go twice from almost identical crossing positions on the right wing. I think it's a lack of communication as well, and it's also the problem when you've got a player like Patrick as the first centre back who's not as adept at intercepting those crosses and batting them away before they reach the man in front. It's almost a blueprint for teams who face Lazio now. Is if you manage to get that ball between the two centre backs, their kind of lack of communication seems to be a problem, or at least it was last night. I don't think we need to necessarily read every single performance into what it means for Luis Felipe and what it means about him as a player, because for me, nothing's really changed. I think he's a good player. He's our second best centre back, and if it was up to me, I would keep him in the squad. But I don't think we should overrate his ability. I also don't think we should underrate his ability. I think we kind of know what kind of a player he is. And it's easy to get a bit carried away with that when he's got a contract running out. But look, I mean, that part of the game was frustrating, but you can also point to how easily the crosses were allowed to come in from the right wing. I think if you consider the fact that we started with a back four with Patrick in the centre and Radu at left back, conceding 2 goals away to Porto isn't the end of the world, even if they were frustrating ones.
Alistair, before I forget, I don't know if you know this, Bastos on Instagram publishing the video of the first goal of Lazio and celebrating. So
I haven't seen this.
It's nearly expiring, so to go and see it. We have to talk about Zaccagni. I thought again, great performance. Not only the goal, he got booked, so he's gonna miss the next match, which it's gonna be a huge problem for this team because Ciro Immobile could be missing even the Udinese match, so we don't know if he's gonna be back. Zaccagni is improving a lot. I thought of the strikers, he has been the best player for us. Didn't like that much Felipe Anderson again, unfortunately, and
Invincible.
yeah, and Pedro did a first good half, but didn't show up in the second half. But Cabral played, right, the last minutes. So, Alistair, what's your take on Cabral?
Well, it's nice to know that he exists. He's a real human person. So that's one positive. Yeah, I think that there's there's not much we can really take from 5 minutes, but I guess a couple of things we saw. enough, I guess, to know that he's got pretty good feet, better feet than Murici, at least to say. I think comfortably after watching him for 5 minutes, I can say he's got better control than Murici. I think that he was put through the middle for the time he was on, because Anderson, he blows pretty hot and cold as always, but especially I think in that position, he's not. To me, he's not the natural option to be playing through the middle if we don't have Chiro. I think Pedro, firstly, would be more suited there for me, and maybe now Cabral. So I think it'll be interesting with Zaccagni suspended in the second leg. It completely depends on where Chiro's at. But say you end up in a position where you've got those three available of Pedro Cabral and Anderson. What kind of order you put them in, like where you line them all up. I think Cabral is more natural as a winger, but it depends whether Sarri sees Anderson as his number two, and he's determined to work on that, because from what Anderson said after the game, they've been working a lot on that in training. He's been trying to learn from Chiro and on the movements. You might need to mute your microphone. And yeah, so that I think that Sarri is kind of like dedicated now to this idea of Anderson being his second striker. But it'd be interesting to see if Cabral becomes an option there as well.
Jan, what's your take?
Yeah. We saw Cabral, the first touch. It was better than Murici has done for all his performances. And he comes straight from the bench. I first have to criticize Maurizio Sarri. He's so bad match coach. He can't do that. But Philip Anderson, totally invincible. He hiding. He don't want the ball. Zaccagni, the total opposite. He wants the ball all the time now. He's playing with more confidence than ever. You saw when he get booked how frustrated he get. And it's a class act goal from him yesterday. So I know this is not gonna happen, but I think we can't start with Cabral. And if Chiro is away, we should start with two at the top and reinforce the midfield. But okay, if I'm gonna give Sarri, I think Pedro do it better on the side, because he often falls away in the second half, and he has maybe the best feet in Lazio. He has the most experience of these games, so I think Pedro on the side. I think if Chiro in the middle, of course, and I would throw him Cabral instead of Felipe. Then we have a player at least.
I don't know. You're all blaming Murici. He moved to Mallorca, 2 assists and 1 goal. So, I would take him back immediately. It's a different type of football. Anyway, I thought it was interesting to see Cabral playing. At least we saw him playing. And I was surprised to see Felipe Anderson staying on the pitch and Pedro and Zaccagni coming off, especially because Zaccagni is not going to play the next match. So that's something strange for me.
Is Pedro not going to play the next game?
No, Zaccagni. He got the yellow card, so it's going to miss that. So, and Leiva came off because he was struggling. He had a little injury, I think. So this is another question mark for the coming match. I would say that the most important thing is seeing how Lazio will play against Udinese, because so far this season, Lazio played decent in the Europa League, and then the match afterwards, it was a totally disaster, right? Verona, we lost against Bologna, etc. So I think this could be the real test, right? Do you think Lazio have changed, starting with Johan, or we're going to see the same disaster as Verona Lazio or Bologna Lazio?
as the game is as the team has played the last couple of matches, Fiorentina, Bologna, I think I think at Udine it's no problem. I think Shiro is back. He wants to be back, especially in the Serie A. He wants to score goals. He wanna hit Dusan Vlahovic on the mouth, and I think at EuroLeague. If you're talking Udine only, I think we're gonna see Lazio who gonna two victory or something. It's not gonna be
Wow.
like the 3-3 draw. I'm confident in that.
Wow, you're very confident. I'm surprised. I mean, I remember I was at the Stadio Olimpico at the home game and we draw 4-all. It was a nightmare. So, and even in Coppa Italia, we struggled. But I like your confidence, you know.
The
Alistair,
Copa.
yeah, go on.
Sorry. But the Copa against Udinese, it was like at Milan. He threw away the game from the beginning. Shiro has to get on the pitch and save it for us.
Alistair, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think, that's some razor sharp insight for you there.
Wow.
I just think that Udinese is a game that I just never trust. For some reason, this fixture seems to pretty regularly throw up slightly crazy games. Not always games that we lose, but something weird happening, or they hold us to draws or whatever. I think it's a big test of the idea of Lazio's progress, because we've spoken a lot about this and things have got better, and we've seen that in the league form, especially recently. And like I said in the last podcast, Lazio are in the top 3 in Serie A over the last 10 games, 4 clean sheets in a row. But I think this is probably the real mark of progress is can they continue that while battling in Europe in the middle of the week? It was already encouraging that performance levels in Portugal were better than against Milan the week before, but it was still a defeat. I think Lazio can go there, get a result, and get back to Rome safely. Then that would be a massive test marker of the progress. The one thing I am a bit concerned about is that obviously Napoli is the game after that, just looking further ahead. And the list of kind of injuries has obviously been creeping up, but also suspensions. And got to this part of the season, I think, now, because I saw that 3 players are now 1 yellow away from missing Napoli as well, which is Felipe, Maricic, and Pedro. And, losing one of... If we lose Felipe to suspension and Acerbi's still not fit, we've got Patrick and Radu starting against Napoli, which would be an interesting evening. So I think that's something to keep an eye on too.
Definitely. Before we wrap it up, a lot of surprise yesterday. I mean, Borussia Dortmund losing to Rangers. I didn't see you celebrating, Alistair. Barcelona drawing against.
Are you Scottish?
I'm Scottish, but I'm not a Rangers fan.
No, not at all. Barcelona drawing against Napoli. I mean, there were some surprises. We said at the beginning that this is a very tough Europe League, but if Barcelona gets out, if Borussia Dortmund gets out, I mean, I don't want to say that Lazio has a huge chance, but Lazio, if they pass this match, they could go all the way, right? Or I'm too optimistic now.
Yeah.
You're quite optimistic. I mean,
you forgot Sevilla.
Yes,
the champions of EuroLeague.
Yeah, they won yesterday, unfortunately, right? 3-1, I think.
Yeah, 3-1, and they have is it 4 consecutive in a row?
Yeah, something like that.
But they have the league. They have not they have 3 points, I think, to Real Madrid. So yeah, you're optimistic, but I think you're optimistic not because I don't think this team can make it, but because we have Maurizio Sarri as a match coach, and these games really, as you can't throw in the 86 minutes for the end force. That's too little time. You have to do it earlier.
Let's not forget as well. There's another 8 teams waiting in the next round who aren't even involved in this round from the group winners of the Europa League too. So, and let's also not forget that, which is classic really for Lazio now, but away goals don't count anymore. So actually, we've not mentioned that yet, but the 2-1 away would have previously been a fantastic result, but now it's just kind of a defeat. Yeah.
We need a 2-0 win at home, so it's not going to be really easy. Anyway, sorry for the noise in the background if you heard it, but a lot of works in my house. First of all, thanks, Johan. Thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure, and hope to have you back.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm sorry that we had Alistair again. Unfortunately, I forgot to give him the wrong address. Again, guys, if you want to support the podcast, remember patreon.com/Lazio Lounge, and you can find it wherever you listen to our podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, wherever, and YouTube and Twitch. So we're going to be back as soon as possible. And thanks again for joining us. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.